Welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. This is actually the first episode of 2018. My AC/DC CD collection was originally going to be the first one posted this year, but of course we lost Malcolm Young last year, so I wanted to post it at that point. So this is the official first episode of 2018. Want to thank everybody for following me. It will be 4 years this September since I started Tim's Vinyl Confessions, and I got a small but dedicated fan base out there, and I really appreciate everybody that takes time to watch these videos. So we'll get it started with a new album, relatively new album, been out for a couple of months, and a band that unfortunately a lot of people still equate with one song and one song only, maybe two songs, and kind of fixate them back in the 80s, especially in North America. But this band's been very, very active since the mid-2000s again. And the band is Europe. Europe has maintained a steady lineup, the Final Countdown lineup, since 2004, and they've put out 6 albums since then. They've been quite prolific, touring. That's 6 studio albums, not counting live albums and DVDs and things like that. So those albums have been remarkably consistent. Last year they put out a new one. This is Walk the Earth, the new Europe album. Hell and Back Recordings is the label it's on. They've kind of been on various labels. I'm so really surprised they haven't been picked up by Frontiers Records. And this album, like most of their comeback albums, produced by Dave Cobb, best known for the Rival Sons. Where does this one fit as far as the Europe albums, the comeback albums? It's very serious, and I don't know how else to describe it. It's not dark, but there's not a lot of light-hearted sort of fun, poppy, sort of hard rock on here. And that's kind of a trend that they started with their 2004 album, Start From the Dark. I did an earlier TVC episode where I put their post-2000s output on there. This one seems extra. It's almost as if it's a concept album, but some of the songs don't fit the concept. So I'll talk about each of the songs on here. Walk the Earth, title song, slow, heavy one. Almost too slow to kick the album off, but enjoyable. This isn't an instant album, I will say that. It's not an instant album. It's one you have to listen to a few times. A lot of the songs in here are written by a guy named Aaron Rattier, which is not a name I recognize. Dave Cobb, the producer, gets in on a lot of the songs. And another guy that I was surprised to see show up in the writing credits, really surprised to see, not on all the songs, but on a lot of them, is Chris Difford. Now, Chris Difford is a member of Squeeze. He's also a songwriter in his own right, but a pop songwriter, or a pop rock songwriter. Definitely not on the hard rock side of things. So I don't know. I'm interested to find out how those two worlds collided. But the next song is The Siege. Kind of cool. Kind of a slowed down immigrant song riff to it. So it's definitely like a siege. It's like a marching type of thing. The next one especially I really like, Kingdom United. Now, this song sounds a lot like Thin Lizzy to me, and I know Europe are huge Thin Lizzy fans. Thin Lizzy's actually a band I'm just starting to scratch the surface of their catalog and get into. Actually watch this space for an upcoming TVC episode about just that. But this one especially reminds me of the song Emerald. It's a war story, and of course Emerald I first really paid attention to when Ace Frehley did it on his Origins Volume 1 album. Pictures, a slower song. Here we have, next to the lyrics to that, we have Joey Tempest, the singer, with an acoustic guitar. He plays a little bit of guitar, but you don't really think of him as doing that. Election Day, interesting. I don't know if there's any deeper overtones in that, or if it's part of this whole concept. Wolves is another song, slow, heavy. Like I said, they're older, but this is the same band that was first introduced to North American shores, and they have had a few lineup changes in the 80s and early 90s, but not since they reunited. GTO is the first song where it really sort of lightens up a little bit, and goes for a faster tempo. And then it's back into the slow, moody feel with a song called Haze. Now, Whenever You're Ready is probably the fastest song in this album and the most classic Europe sounding, which is to say it's not very classic Europe sounding, but at least lyrically it kind of reminds me of, basically because of the title mentions the song Ready or Not. Turn to Dust is the album closer, and it's another slow, sort of ponderous song. This album was actually recorded at Abbey Road Studios, which is pretty significant, to say the least. And at the end, there's the credits here. And since this is Tim's Vinyl Confessions, oh, well, before that, I will say this. The booklet, it's one of those booklets that's almost a little bit too thick for the tabs in this jewel case. However, I'm not going to complain because I'm glad that this came in a jewel case and not a digipack. Digipacks get scuffed up, damaged. I'm not a big fan of digipacks. I'll only opt for the digipack if they have bonus songs and it's, you know, not ridiculously priced. But I also picked this up on vinyl. So, some 2017 vinyl. It's not my favorite album to come out in the last year, but it's pretty good. So here it is, the new Europe album, Walk the Earth. They never seem to tour anywhere close to here, and I'd like to see this band in concert. Joey Tempest still has his vocal chops, and like I said, it's the classic lineup, but they still do the classic songs as you would remember them, but they've put out a lot of great material since reuniting in the early 2000s. It's worth checking out. We'll probably do a complete Europe episode sometime later this year. We'll have to see what happens. But for now, that's my 2 cents on the new Europe album, Walk the Earth, and looking forward to new Tim's Vinyl Confessions episodes in 2018. Record Store Day. I'll have my co-hosts on here, so looking forward to getting the year started off right. So thank you for taking the time to watch this episode of Tim's Vinyl Confessions.